traffic out of the way. It's between these two. They're even for the white flag lap.
This race still very undecided.
Bradley had the lift. Big run for McWhorter. This is going to be his chance.
They're running out of time and they know it.
Surges to the inside, now pulls even with Hutton off the turn number 2.
900 horsepower at their feet.
That was a huge run for Bradley. He got back the advantage, but here comes a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Here comes Ray Massey. Ray Massey's going to win it.
There it is up on your screen. 3 races left to decide the Saturday Night Racing League champion. Jeff Wright 7 points ahead of Joseph McWhorter. And for 3 races left, live from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway, well, it's Saturday Night Racing League. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. As always, joined in the booth by my co-commentator of the season, Connor Horn. Connor, we've seen so much here. Just seen the highlight there in the intro video of, Joseph McWhorter. Ray Massey gets the surprise victory. We had a lot of drivers that had those one-offs, multi-time winners in this season, but it's all come down to maybe the top 3 in these last 3 races.
Top 3 in these last 3 races, but it really could be down to the top 2. A 30-point deficit. It's going to be tough for Joshua Banks to overcome, but Joseph McWhorter is directly in this fight, especially after Talladega. We knew with the next-gen cars it would be pretty wild, and it got wild. Final lap crash. Jeff Wright can't avoid it. McWhorter was kind of in it, but he was able to keep going, finished 10th, while the 48 finished all the way down in the 20th position. That ended up being a 10-point swing. It lets McWhorter get within 7, so it's really looking like maybe those two for the title these last 3 races. Banks is still lurking. Max Cost, you never know. Got about a 5-6 car battle for that 4th position. There's only about 16 points separating Cost from Ryan Carwile from 4th to 9th, so that mid-pack of this chase, very, very tight right now. But we're definitely looking at those top 2 in the standings. This is going to be a pretty important race to see how this title battle is going to shape up.
Track map up on your screen. 20 degrees of banking, and this track opened back in 1996. Mark Martin had a lot of success here. But here tonight, it's going to be a matter of who can save the tires the best. I was just talking to a few drivers pre-race, and the advice that they gave me, the advice that I gave them, it's just a matter of let those guys go, race out ahead of you a little bit. You'll see them in 10, 15 laps.
Yeah, that's really what we're going to be seeing a lot of, especially in the high temps that we're probably going to see. The track temp is 127 right now. The sim time is during the middle of the day. So these are going to be very high temps. The right front, right rear, they are going to be screaming at you after probably 5-10 laps in these Xfinity cars. And you really want to try to wrap the bottom best you can at both ends of the racetrack. That middle can work in 1 and 2 because even though you want to be on the bottom in 1 and 2, those bumps will jerk you sideways and you got to be careful not to spin it out. We could see the top lane come in both ends of a track as well, but we'll just have to see how this plays out with the high track temps. 140 lap race, pretty standard for a 1.5 mile races. Pit speed 45 miles an hour. Pit entrance could really dictate your race here as well, because I've seen green flag runs come here and you need to be able to get on the pit road. Not too difficult, but not the easiest thing in the world either. We got 5 tire sets, including the one on your car to start the race. 3 green white checkers, the normal 85% fuel tank as well with the fixed setup. So this should be a pretty wild one.
So there it is, all the official stuff out of the way. Let's take your track sign now, get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole here tonight with a 31.068, almost a 31 flat, 200ths of a second, 2,000ths of a second. Ben Baffert, he's going to start on the pole. There's your points leader right next to him, Jeff Wright. He's going to start in the 2nd position. Man, that is close. These guys right on top of each other to start this race. Starting in row number 2, it's going to be AJ Stravato, and hopefully a turnaround here for the 75. I say that every week, but this guy's had the worst luck ever. Good starting spot for him, Chuck Sweeting. Chad Klager's going to begin in 5th position with Alex Bell in 6th. 7th spot goes to 2nd place in the points, Joseph McWhorter. So that top 2 separated by 5 positions, 6 positions roughly. Angelo Herodes is going to begin in 8th position, and rounding out your top 10 here today, well, that's going to be Joshua Banks and Seth Hatchell.
And we'll see if McWhorter can get through the field to get close to the 48. Cannot afford to give up points at this point in the season. Bailey Turner will start 11th after coming up short just barely at Talladega last week. He starts 11th. Ryan Carwile starts 12th. He's further back in the title fight, 8th in points, 9th in points. Caleb Weekly in the 13th starts in the 13th position with Eric Hutton in his Raising Cane's number 88. He returns this week. He starts 14th. 15th position going to be the number 63, Max Koss, holding on the 4th in the title by only a few points, but he's right in the fight for a good points finish once again. With Reggie Ortega, the Daytona winner at the very beginning of the season, 16th position. 17th position behind the 63 and the 2. Noah Mahalski at the 03, who was high up in the points during the regular season, but needs a little more to go his way in these chase races. Mahalski's 17th. Daniel Cunningham in the 08 will start 18th position. And rounding out that top 20 and just outside the front half of the field, Ray Massey, the Chicagoland winner, 19th position. Justin Ritchie, I believe a rare start for him this season. He'll start inside 20.
So another comeback here for Justin Ritchie. Good to see him back out on the racetrack. We've got about 13 more cars. Ethan Coulier is going to be in 21st. Philip Brewer in 22nd, 23rd. Jerry Bergeron, Bryce Shoemaker, 24th. How about this? Every car for Neon Auto is in the top 12 in points. So how about that statistic? Dakota Floyd's going to start 25th. Casey Lakatos. Then we have Mark McFadden. Julio Villalobos Jr. I want to get that name right one of these days. Jerry West and Eddie Trejo for the top 30. We got 3 more out here. Dustin Drummond, Keith Shoemaker, and then Logan Threlkeld, V-Speed's very own, out there on the racetrack in the number 12 machine, labeled as an 18 on the side of that car. So Ben Bafford had a short stint. He joined in here late, but since he got in here, he has been putting it up on the pole. He's been giving these guys some havoc. He's been a guy to reckon with, and we saw that at BTDY. We've seen it in other leagues. 14 car is fast.
Yeah, always fast. He has 3 top 5s in 4 of his starts so far, so he's definitely one to reckon with, and he will throw a little bit of a wrench in his title battle if it's not all easy for the 48 to lead races here. But don't count out that 33 either. AJ Travato, I think he has a bounce-back race. New paint scheme, new Travato.
So for 140 laps here today, we're going to watch the Saturday Night Racing League for the third to last race of the chase. Let's go live and roll the dice from Vegas. Green flag is out. We're live. How about that? Jeff Wright's going to take over the lead just by half a car length there as he crossed over the line. So lap number 1 goes to the 48. A little bit going on back here deeper in the field. Caleb Weekly to the inside. He's up 1 position inside Ryan Carwile, and just ahead of them, there's Bailey Turner in the 24. Side by side from 3rd on back.
And Wright wasted no time. He got the better jump. He got pretty much the same jump as Baffert, but the higher line, he was able to prevail. Baffert came so close to clearing the 48 out of turn 2, couldn't do it. But then Jeff Wright throttled up, kind of pinched Baffert a little bit, got that spot, and got the clean air, which is going to be important. You can see both of those top 2 drivers running the bottom, trying to keep the tires on it by running that white line. While you got others like Chuck Sweeting, like Travato, trying to make up time on that higher line. Well, Travato's actually had to tried to defend McWhorter, but McWhorter's trying to go forward. He's trying to keep pace with that 48. He got the 3rd. He's going to try to get the 2nd.
You can see the difference in lines and how it's going to save the tires, but we're only 3 laps in. Now 4 as they cross the stripe to begin that lap number 4. This is really when the tires are going to tell you, what did you do wrong to start this race?
Just see here, you can see how much harder McWhorter's driving compared to Baffert, and the same way with the 75 and the 29. They're not running the way bottom. They're sending it into the corner much harder, putting much more stress on that right front tire on entry, and then getting a better run off as McWhorter compared to the 14 as well. So definitely stressing those tires more than those 2 drivers that he's sandwiched between right now. But he's got to do this. He's trying to keep pace with Jeff Wright. He has no other choice.
So trying to keep pace with Jeff Wright, man, that's been the storybook all season long for a lot of these guys. 5 wins in the book, for Jeff Wright, but if there's one guy that's been kind of a thorn in his side all season, it's the 73. He's always found a way to capitalize when the 48 has a bad day. When we talk about guys that have had just, great regular seasons and then really it cooled off. We talk about Alex Bell, Bailey Turner, Hronis, Hatchell. A lot of these guys started out really hot, and then things just kind of went downhill. It kind of snowballed.
Say Mahalski, he had a really good middle stretch of the regular season, and he just has not been able to really replicate that as of late. But he's still got plenty of time to make up for it as Klinger slides up the track, battling with the 33 of Stravato on the inside line. You can see Hronis trying to get to the bottom and behind that 24 machine as well. You can still see Chuck Sweeting. He's one of those guys who's been in that middle line pretty much this entire race. All 6 complete laps so far. We'll see how that affects him later in this run as well, but he's the only one I've seen consistently up there. Don't know if that's by choice or he's stuck up there. But you can see Baffert still cutting the bottom line. He just chopped the nose of the 15 of Bell. But you can see that middle line, if you want to run hard early, the middle line through 1 and 2, you avoid those bumps on the bottom, you get a better run out of it.
We're also starting to see the passing stagnate as well. Guys maybe stuck to the inside, can't clear each other. So now for Baffert, as he loses another position, falls back to 5th. Maybe a little bit of tire conservation. Let those guys go on the outside. It's kind of one of those, well, let's weigh our options. Do we really want to burn our stuff up trying to race on the inside? Maybe that is part of his line right now, but I'm really sure that coming off a 2, he'd much rather be out next to that outside wall.
We'll just have to see as Bell's going to force the issue, look almost 3 wide, but Klinger clears them both. Bell's trying to get to the front quickly, get Klinger on his nose. But I think Baffert sees that you want to save your tires, but when you're saving tires, trying to hard save them a little bit, you need to keep track position to make that work. Right now, he's falling back a little further than you want to do to try to make the strategy work. He goes outside the top 5, top 7. He's going to be in trouble, and it's going to be hard to pass even with those tires saved. So he's got to be a little careful not to let too many people by. The 15 got by. Bailey Turner just got clear of him as well, as those top 2 are checking out right now from Stravato. They're about 1.2 seconds ahead of 3rd place.
But Stravato is starting to check out in his own right. He has pulled out about 3/10 over Chad Klinger. Klinger, once they get single filed out, it looks like these cars handle a little bit better. Dirty Air just can't run your line. This is a multi-groove racetrack similar to what we saw at Chicagoland or Homestead, Kansas. Take your pick in these 1.5 miles. But the problem with this racetrack is there's no preferred line. You can run high, you can run low. It's just a matter of tire save.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of how you save those tires. If you save a lot on the right front, it's gonna, compared to the right rear, it'll probably dictate what line you run at the end of your fuel run. So that's really something you got to pay attention to if you're trying to save one tire compared to the other. Trying to go soft into a corner or drive hard out of the corner, it all makes a big difference. So you got to really be careful of what you're doing on corner entry and exit, both ends of the racetrack.
Riding on board with Logan Threlkeld, he's up 4 positions. There's a few drivers that have dropped considerably. Ben Baffert is one of them. He's down 7. Reggie Ortega up 6. He's actually being challenged right now by Noah Mahalski on the inside, coming out of turn 4. A little brush with the wall there.
And that's one thing about if you're trying to make moves on the bottom. If you don't clear that person on the bottom, everyone else behind you is probably going to gang up, go to that middle line, and try to pass you back. It is hard to hold the bottom under someone. That's going to be a point of issue for sure. You can see Mahalski struggling to not put the 8 into the wall, and that's not him. He's just not really even struggling. It's just that's kind of how the car hits here at this track, especially in turns 3 and 4. There's something weird about 3 and 4. It doesn't feel symmetrical. You almost have to diamond it to the point where you're on the bottom, the white line in 4. You can't hit it in 3, or else you don't get the exit you need. So that's something Mahalski will struggle with as he's trying to stay in front of Joshua Banks, who needs a lot to go his way to get back into the title fight.
And he's got a lot of dirty air in front of him here, but the 35 is going to use that to his advantage. He will get clear of the 0-3, put him up to 12th position now. Mahalski falls back a couple. Again, on the move, though, for Reggie Ortega, up into the top 10. The 2 car is on the loud pedal here, coming out of turn 4. Outside of Angelo Hronis for 9th.
Moronis kind of just staying put as well himself. He's kind of started 8th. He's actually fallen back a little bit, and that's what we're talking about. If people want to gang up on that middle line while you're stuck on the bottom, they can easily do that. Hatchell's actually going a little higher than everyone else has so far tonight. Trying a little bit of a higher line. That could work a 1 and 2. I'd be usually you probably see that more in 3 and 4 as the run gets later, as the times fall off even more. Race leader.
Oh, moment there for the 73. He was sideways.
He's driving hard to try to stay with Jeff Wright, but I just don't think that's going to work out. But I was talking about the fall off. Jeff Wright's fastest lap, and he's in clean air, by the way. He's ran a 30.5 as his fastest lap. He's already 2 seconds off of that, 15 laps in, and he's in clean air. It's much worse for the guys in behind, like Ben Baffert. His fastest lap is a 31.4, so not as fast short run as the 48, but still in that 32.6, 32.7 bracket, multiple tenths off the race leader just because you're stuck in all this traffic.
Yeah, and that's kind of a product of him sitting back a little bit, maybe a little bit too conservative. And now he finds himself deep in this field. He is 2.8 seconds back from the lead, and he has a cluster behind him. He does not want to get caught up in that. There's the 35 of Banks to the outside for 9th.
This is really the most hairy part of the run, trying to get everyone sort of spread out on this very first run of the race. It's still pretty packed up, but you're seeing more and more drivers getting single file at the front, about the top 6 single file, maybe 7, including Baffert, but everything else behind that's still pretty jumbled up, side by side. Ortega, Hatchell, Mahowski there as well. So all these drivers still trying to get sorted out, but once you get everyone spread out, it should be a lot less chaotic until we get to the green flag stop. So you can see Hatchell on back, still very wild.
Verona's tagged the apron there in 1 and 2, wasn't able to get the run completed. Got to the inside for 9th. Of course, washes up the racetrack after touching that apron. And this car wants to turn to the bottom of this racetrack so bad. We're talking about 20 degrees of banking. It's definitely engineered for this car. However, sometimes that gets you in trouble, and you see, just like Coronas, you tag that apron, it washes the car out, then you lose all that ground.
Yeah, you can't lose ground, because once the groove really, once everything starts to really slow down, the pace starts to get incredibly slower, you're going to start to see everyone search for grip in that middle line. I saw just about the entire field try to run that middle line, but it wasn't the entire middle line. A lot of drivers entered middle and cut it down to the bottom out of 2, I think just to avoid those bumps in mainly turn 1. So we're starting to see a lot of those drivers move up the track trying to find some sort of grip.
So here we sit, 19 laps into this race. If you save tires, you're probably feeling a lot better. I think AJ Stravado feels pretty good. He's pulled out away from Chad Klinger. I think we're about to have a battle for 4th. Alex Bell looking a little bit faster than the 09 last time by.
And these drivers, a lot of the times this season, both of these drivers have issues with the long run pace. We got a caution. Crash somewhere down in turn 3. It's Logan Threlkeld, and he's destroyed.
He is totaled here on the inside.
Looks like Justin Ritchie has a bunch of damage as well on the 55, but not as bad as that machine.
That machine looks like it's done for the day.
Ritchie looks done as well. He's going to park it. Did not see anyone else with damage other than those 2.
About an 1/8 of the way through, 1/7 of the way through this race. Let's go back on the V Speed Instant Replay to find out what happened.
Quick math. So Threlkeld got some of it. The 55 got some of it. He's in the wall out of 2, and he just trying to catch it, and he just couldn't, and Justin Ritchie had nowhere to go. My goodness, he hit that concrete wall hard. You get probably 1 chance to save these cars. You very rarely get 3 or 4 like he did. And
Yeah, at that point, you just lock it down, I think, is just the only other thing you got is an option. That backstretch, all asphalt, you're going to slide for quite a ways, but you can usually get it wound up in time. Let's go back on board here with Justin Ritchie.
Yeah, looking at that, that's a moment when you just got to lock it down, like you said. Like we were talking about, you get 1 chance to save it and keep it straight. Once you kind of miss that chance, you got nothing. He's got 1, 2, I'd call that 3, 4. He had 4 chances before that one. And there's nothing much you can do in behind that because he's going both ways. You kind of just got to hope he doesn't come in your path. Evidently he did.
Throttle will not fix it.
Yeah, no, throttle will not fix that as well. Definitely not, as we got pit stops. Pretty much everyone came down. Just McWhorter gets out first. I did see Jeff Wright miss his box a little bit, so instead of leading, he's going to be back in the 5th position.
Let's take it back on an instant replay, catch up on these pit stops as well. McWhorter was right on the back bumper of the 48 as they came into the pit.
McWhorter's in a stall. You can see right there, Jeff Wright by maybe half a stall missed. Someone else back there. Whoever pit behind Bailey Turner just missed their stall as well. That might have been Seth Hatchell.
And that's 4 spots lost. And that clean air was so important for the 48 to get that run and get out ahead of these guys. Now he's going to be sitting in a different seat.
It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, as we'll probably get the one to go here this time by. But McWhorter's going to be the one in control of this race. Once again, it's not like the initial start where everyone has to go on green. McWhorter has control in the restart box, so he can get out in front of the 33.09.24, get some clean air on his nose, and maybe he can save those tires a little bit better, because he was starting to slip back to Stravato as that run went on.
Trying to get the chat to life here. Everybody's sleeping on us here in SNR. Pick your favorite driver, throw them up in the chat. We'll try to get some TV time for them. And if you're Gmall Weekly, shout out to you right now. I was informed that you'd be watching live tonight, so we're going to go ahead and find that 13 car. He's currently running in the 20th position after starting in 13th. He's had a little bit of a rough time here, but maybe saving the tires for the long run. Caleb Weekly is going to figure it out, I'm sure. Just some guys adapt and overcome on these racetracks, and as greasy and as hot as it is, you put the weather up there, 129 degrees. It's about as slippery as it gets here in Vegas.
Yeah, it's probably not going to go down for a while. Still very early in the sim day. It's up 129 right now. It was colder a little earlier.
Pace car is going to get out of the way for the second time today. We're going to race here at Las Vegas. Joseph McWhorter into turn 1. AJ Stravato, Chad Klinger.
You can see the block to the apron. Banks had a look at Alex Bell. Bell shut that down. Klinger got a very good jump. He kind of anticipated McWhorter going in the zone at the right time. He's able to get second out of it.
So McWhorter's going to get his first laps led of the day. It looks like no one contesting him up in this clean air as he comes off of turn 4. Drone camera up in the air, 73 set sail.
He's probably going to try to keep the 09 from even battling him at all. Just wants to be single file, keep the air on the nose, not having to strain the tires by battling at all. Meanwhile, Jeff Wright's going to have to fight a little bit to get back by Stravato here. Ben Bafford did a little different strategy. He went to about the third lane trying to get grip. He's going to pull the crossover on Bell. That 15 tried to block it, couldn't do it, but this is a much more orderly restart here. Already pretty single-filed out at this point.
Well, I think these guys learned something, getting side by side for too many laps. That allowed those leaders to pull away. Now it's anyone's game. The 73 took over the point, but these guys are hanging with them.
As Stravado's going to try to get second position, maybe try to put pressure on the 73. As Chad Klinger has to battle him, he's going to pinch the 33 down. These two race each other hard whenever they're side by side. They make contact in races past as well. But like you're talking about, here comes a big run from Bailey Turner. But I think you're onto something. Everyone tried to get single foul because they knew they're not doing any good. You're wearing the tires out, letting the leaders get away. So just get sorted out earlier and you'll be fine.
Ooh, what a hole there that the 24 just fit his car between the 33 and the 48. Bailey Turner's going to lose a spot out of that, but I think he had no choice coming off of turn 4. It was a little loose.
A little bit loose, but able to make it work as Stravato's still trying to work over that 09. Bafford's still trying to get back into the top 6. He's battling that 15 rather hard, but just going to get the nose chopped by the 15, that Supra right in front of Bafford. But you can see how stacked up they are right now behind McWhorter. Really, no one's giving any inches from bumper to bumper. You can see Bell. You can see him cheat down the track, trying to protect that bottom line, not letting Bafford do his inside. Bafford's going to get close to his rear bumper, maybe get the air on the spoiler, loosen them up a little bit. You can see the 15's rear bumper wiggling a little bit. Bafford got a tiny run, but it wasn't quite enough.
And all the way through to the top 10 there. Now side by side, Bafford has the 35 of Joshua Banks for the 8th spot here. They're going to go side by side, and there's Alex Bell dropping down. He peeks to the inside as well. Good run out of the corner there for Bafford. He's going to pick up this position, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to be the first one in that middle lane, just trying to make it work. He's actually going to get back down, try the crossover to get the run out of the corner, get to the inside of the 15. Not quite. Just has to get back in line. He did not get that great of a run out of turn 2 like we thought he might. But as we're talking about, much more orderly. We are single file all the way through the top 8. Seth Hatchell, no Mahowski for the 9th position. A little side-by-side action there. Ortega's going to try to battle for that position now. It's McWhorter almost looking like an old-style Gen 6 Super Speedway race, single file.
Well, that's what you got to do here. Keep the guys at bay, and Chad Klinger's going to go up here and challenge for it, but it's going to be a tall task at Dirty Air, getting the run off the corner. Where does he take it? If he does get that run, does he pinch himself down to the inside? He is all over that back bumper.
And this is a dilemma for McWhorter because he's trying to at least save some tires by keeping clean air on the nose, but he knows Chad Klinger is pushing hard to get the lead away from him. So it's kind of a tough balance because you don't want to wear the tires out, keeping the lead, but at the same time, you don't want to give him the lead because you know Chad Klinger is going to be a hard pass regardless.
Side-by-side again for Baffert. We go deeper in this field. There's some side-by-side back here with Eric Hutton. And the 66 of Dustin German. Ethan Collier is in that 39 machine, the NOS 39. He loses 2 positions. Casey Lakatos on the back bumper. Some of these drivers.
There we go.
There's the inside.
Klinger for the race lead up ahead. He did get to the inside of McWhorter. You can see McWhorter's trying to wrap that high line. It's going to work. And this is, again, what we're talking about. If you don't make that pass on the bottom 1 and 2, you're going to get ganged up on. Here comes Travado, and Jeff Wright will try to follow him.
Yeah, as soon as you put yourself down there, you get to change up your line. It's a little bit of a pinch out of the exit. You're going to see it again here. Klinger.
Oh!
Contact!
Oh, he's going to save it. He gets it going. Not saved yet. Now he's got it, but he's going to lose a lot of time. Look out, Angelo Horonis. And he's going to go from battling for the lead to a 3-wide battle for 12. That's not a great transition, is it?
Could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. Oh, more contact. It's getting there. Horonis 3 wide out of turn 2. They somehow make it through it.
And that got Jeff Wright up to second. He passed Travado, and he immediately jumped to the right rear of McWhorter for the race lead.
Don't let this 48 car get back to the point. This is for the championship. This could be the deciding race. If you want to capitalize, now you've got to carry what happened last week into every week. You got to chip away every single race. There's not that much time left.
Now, McWhorter did something different there. He didn't go all the way to the bottom. What he did, he actually chased Jeff Wright to the high line, trying to throw him off, but Wright still got a great run out of turn 3, and you could see McWhorter just gave him the lead there. He did not want to fight him too hard on that bottom line. Probably just wants to ride, learn what Jeff Wright's doing, and try to maybe pick up on what he's doing, maybe pass him later. He's got a run. That draft a little stronger than we usually see here, as Wright is immediately thought he was going to go to the bottom, but instead he just ran that middle line. McWhorter going to put clean air on his own nose and get a run back, but I think he's going to try to follow the 48 a little bit here as Travado starts to fall back and maybe save his stuff and watch them go.
73 runs a different line almost every single lap here, trying to just figure out how he can keep pace. He is doing a much better job. Right, very loose out of 4. 73 did not cut him any slack there at all.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising, right? Just did not get the exit he wanted. He almost pounded the wall down. He slid the rear trying to make that work, but McWhorter did not take advantage. He just kind of shoved him out of the corner. You can see right here the 48's in trouble. I think McWhorter gave him maybe a tiny lift there. I think if he full throttled him, didn't lift at all, it would have been a crash, but did not want to do that.
Veteran move, though. I mean, you want to win this championship the right way, but man, is he on him again out of 4. Back to a live shot here. Down the front stretch, he has the run going into turn 1, closes the door. Jeff Wright's going to hold the lead. Very patient here from the 73. Doesn't want to repeat of Chicago, I guarantee it.
Yeah, that looms large right now. He could have more bonus points right now. Could be a little bit closer, but you can see he's just learning a little bit. I think what I'm really learning is that bottom line, you're not going to be able to make passes down there unless you really save the tires. Bottom line doesn't even look that good in 3 and 4. We're seeing drivers get off that white line and even inch up maybe a half a groove to a groove. And it's working for McWhorter right now, going that little bit higher than the 48.
And that's probably a product of this track starting to rubber up here. It's definitely been scuffing these tires off at 120 plus degrees. I mean, you can fry an egg on this speedway right now.
Still increasing that track temp for sure, and it's going to increase for probably the next half hour to an hour of racing. We might not even see it get fully down as we're starting to see these drivers search around more and more. Now that time, the 48 did take that higher line away, but Warder brought it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Got a decent run out of the corner, but for the most part, Wright was able to keep that split.
Oh, sideways! Lacanis in the 45. Julio down through the grass. They're going to stay green, lap 38.
That was all the way back in the battle for about 19. But they kept it straight enough.
I think a little check up there from the 39 into the back of Eric Hutton will go on board with the 45. I think you're going to see a little check up here. The 88 goes to the inside and clears.
Yeah, I think he tried to wrap the bottom, missed that white line, kind of washed up. The 39, him made contact, and just in the stack up, I think Villalobos got a shot from whoever was behind him. I think it might have been the 57 of Dakota Floyd that put him into Lacatus, and could have caused a much bigger crash. It looked like a big crash, but wasn't too horrible at the end of the day.
We jumped the camera right to it. I mean, that's how fast it happens here. The blink of an eye. You're going to have to be quicker than that, guys. If you're going to wreck, you're going to try to beat the cameraman here today. Let's see if you can do it.
A few more battles forming right now. Got Joshua Banks. He's climbed through the field quite nicely. He started in 9th. He fell back early, but he's up to 5th, battling for 4th. He's that guy 3rd in points, 30 points back. And with the guys in front of him in points 1, 2. Yeah. He needs to get going. He's working over Bailey Turner right now. He's going to go that middle line, try to get the run out of 4, and probably maybe jump to the right rear of the 24 into turn 1, because that bottom line, we're not going to see a lot of passes down on the bottom in 1 and 2.
I've always found it interesting, Connor, how as a driver, when you get into points time and it's down to the last 2 or 3 races, you don't see positions anymore. You see the guys that you're battling in the points all over the racetrack. And that's exactly what Joshua Banks has to be thinking. The 2 guys that I need to beat right now are ahead of me. And I mean, it's kind of a losing battle when you get into that mentality sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to deal with. As you just saw, he's trying to get to the right rear of the 24, but you're going to see to his inside, here comes Alex Bell. He went all the way to the wall in 3 and 4, and he got a great run out of it. He almost cleared Bailey Turner. They're going to make contact. Turner's almost in the wall. That's going to be the break Banks needs to get by the 24, but Bailey Turner's not going to like that.
No, he is not. That self-clear out of turn 2 put the 24 back 2 positions. Remember, Turner was actually challenging for the top 3 just a moment ago. Now back to 6th.
He's going to try that crossover to get Banks back, but it's going to be tough to do on the bottom. You almost wonder if he's going to feed the right rear to the 35, possibly. He fired it into the corner. He might be trying to feed it to the left rear of the 15. Yeah, he did.
Oh, he's sideways.
Somehow, I don't know how he didn't hit the wall that time either, but that looked like a
2 more spots, though.
Looked like a pseudo payback attempt that didn't quite work out.
That's 2 more spots there. Let's get back on the instant replay. These guys are heating up a little bit here midway.
Thought that would have done more damage of a 24. It didn't look, he made it look good. I'll say that, but this to me is very clearly kind of driving in hard, seeing the 15 who just hit him.
Hey, how you doing?
Just kind of hitting him. I thought he was in the wall hard. I don't know how he kept it out of it, but once again, like you said, Baffert and Ortega, 2 more positions go right on by, but Turner's not fighting for the points, just trying to get wins, but that's not going to help his case either, although...
I mean, he's fighting, though.
At the very least, the right front looks okay, and I don't think Bell got that much damage out of it either, but now I think Banks is faster than him, but he's probably not going to let him by too easily for that 4th position.
Riding on board with Seth Hatchell in 9th spot. V-Speed obviously plastered on that hood all season long, and it's another one of those, I'm super thankful. We are truly blessed here at V-Speed. Look at all these cars out here that have V-Speed plastered on them. There's the 2 car. He's got some V-Speed on it, right on the back bumper. Then we'll go to the 24. I'm sure we can get a nice angle here somewhere. Maybe not on the 24 Celsius. Usually there is something there. Then Seth Hatchell, obviously, with that. And Julio on the hood there with the V-Speed. And let's get a look at Max Cost. That's the one I'm proudest of. Super thankful for these guys here at SNR.
He's 4th in the points. Not a great run for him today. 21st position. And starting 15th, just falling back. No damage on the 63, so clean car, which is important, but does not making the time he needs to. Jeff Wright's the guy making time right now. McWhorter was laying on his rear bumper, staying with him until about 2-3 laps ago. 48's put the pace down. He's running about a 10th faster than McWhorter, who's kind of holding Travato up a little bit. But what I'm seeing is, I knew the groove was going to move up, but it is high right now. You can see almost every driver either in the second lane of 1 and 2 or all the way next to the wall.
And it's about the same here through 3 and 4. Some guys are trying that higher line, especially 5th on back.
Especially 9th and 10th. Seth Hatchell, I thought he ran the high line. Daniel Cunningham almost hit the wall trying to get through his right rear, but wasn't able to quite make it work. It's a decent run for the 08 so far. He started back in the 18th position, but he's gotten into the top 10. Kind of trying to ride that high seam to get some grip through the center of the corner to get that high line to run out the corner. Not quite working as well in 1 and 2, but you do still get that big run on Chad Klinger that he's still trying to recover from the contact with Chicago.
Klinger's clawing his way back up here into the top 10. Shout out to the Ghost Energy Machine. Almost some contact there. Chad Klinger said, I'll shout him out. I'll take his door.
He's already seen enough doors, I think, today, but there's another one. He's really the only one fighting on this bottom line. Saying that, Bell and Baffert are going to go not side by side, but bumper to bumper for 4th position. That 35 starting to fall backwards. He lost that position to Baffert. He's about to lose another one to Ortega. He's going to pinch the door of that 2, trying to keep the spot. He's going to inch a little closer back to that 24. But you can see, even if someone's not pinching you hard, the bottom line just not quite there.
Yeah, it's scrubbing the speed. It looks like maybe, especially off the transition when you're back on the throttle, just not quite getting the drive off that you need to clear these cars. And that's kind of working to the advantage right now for 4th place Alex Bell. He's just going to keep the 14 at bay from that outside. Almost contact there.
Yeah, Baffert getting really close. He might have even tapped the 15 as we got a half spin. Is that a pit stop? I think that's Banks hitting pit lane. We restart about lap 22, 23. I thought these drivers might want to take it to lap 60, but he's going to hit on lap 50.
You know it's a good pit stop when you're not quite sure if he's wrecking.
Yeah, I couldn't tell, honestly. He gets to the apron here. He just gets, difference in bank and gets it loose.
Those tires are coming off. They're coming off. You don't need them.
Yeah,
use them up.
Pretty much. As long as you don't speed, you should be good. I think Banks is fine. It didn't look like he sped at all. So it looks like Ray Massey's going to pit from 12th. Another little mini slide. But I was thinking these drivers might be able to 2-stop and make it to lap 60. Unless these drivers are just trying the alternate strategy just to get that extra pit stop in. It's looking like it might not be the case, but we still got about 8 to 9 laps until we get to that lap 60 point when I expected drivers to pit, as thought Hronis was in the wall there. Someone else almost scraped it back there. Drivers getting closer and closer to that outside wall to the point where someone's going to knock it down.
Yeah, it doesn't move. We've tried here for years. There's the 2 of Ortega. He's going to come down pit road. That's the matter. Some of these guys may be coming down early because when you bring 7 or 8 cars behind you, there's a good chance, like you saw with Banks, that they slide in and maybe overshoot the entry a little bit. And that's a good chance for you to get taken out.
A good chance to get taken out is with someone laying on your bumper on the high line. Seth Hatchell is laying on Bailey Turner through the corners right now because Turner's just, oh, wow.
Oh, Ortega, big miss. Yeah.
That wasn't even close, but I was just looking at the 24, just protecting that higher line from the 8 of Hatchell, and Hatchell's not going to the bottom line to pass him, so it just ends up with the 8 laying on the bumper of the 24.
There's a mission right now for the 24 car. It's right in front of him.
He's not quite gaining either, but he's going to try his best. Someone else keeps Shoemaker pit. Oh, Cunningham in the wall. He kept it straight, but that's the first one I've seen hit it at least.
Hatchell to the outside. Looks like 24 maybe calling down the pit road this time. No, he's going to keep on going. Looked like maybe he was coming down.
Hatchell got a good run that time, though, so it might be... We're getting slide job territory here with how hard it is to pass on the bottom. You get a run like this, you almost need to try to send into a corner, try to slide up in front of them. but I think Bailey countered that with driving hard into turn number 1. Hatchell's not going to be able to make it work. And that opens a door for that 29 to try to make it work.
Three wide here as they come off of turn 4, offset. Hatchell holds it down sideways off of the corner.
Yeah, really tough to pin it down. It's like a push loose situation down there. Just scrubbing the tires too much. It gets too tight. You try to turn the wheel harder.
I think he just got
moved.
moved.
Sideways.
I think he just got moved there. I don't know if Klinger got into the back of him or not, but that was close. I'm going to have to go back here and look at this, man.
Had a good look at it. No contact there, but definitely seems like the 8's starting to struggle big time. We saw those other drivers trickle down here. As you can see, no contact with the rear bumper. So no contact between those two, but still waiting to see these drivers. Most of them come down to pit lane. I think those other guys that pit might just be trying an alternate strategy just because they know track position matters. So might just be trying the extra stop for tires. It seems like everyone else is going to be able to make it to 60 on fuel as here comes Horonis. He may turn and give up the top for the 8 car, but he did let the 29 through.
So here's the other factor now. Jeff Wright has 44 laps led, and that's another thing that McWhorter needs to think about. If he wants an opportunity to get the most laps led, he needs to go up there and snag this lead away after pit stops. It's going to be difficult to beat the 48 in and out on these green flag pit stops. We're talking about 1.2 seconds. It's a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, but with how much tire fall off there is, if you just pit a lap before the 48 and you nail everything, you get into your box, you get in and out of pit road fast, you undercut him by 1 lap, you should get that lead. 1 lap's going to make a big difference. Saw Cunningham come down less time by. Max Cost also pit. Coming to start lap 59. Will not be surprised to see a few others pit, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. You can see the drivers on new tires ripping through the field in Ray Massey and Joshua Banks. They are way, way faster right now.
So Max Cost down and away. Side by side, here comes some fresh tires with the 35 machine. Ray Massey just behind him, looking like rocket ships here. That's what tire fall off looks like here at Las Vegas. 60 laps in the books, approaching that halfway mark. Few of these guys are on that 2-stop strategy.
Here comes a front runner. Stravato just came down from that 4th position.
Very sideways in the entrance, but woes it up enough. He's going to be...
Sorry, Jerry West tried to pit. I don't know if he made it on or not, but I thought Jerry West in the 00 was wrecking more than I thought Banks was wrecking, but he got in there as well. But this Stravato pitting should bring in some of these leaders, if not all of them.
Jerry had to come from the outside.
Oh, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
McWhorter and Bell are in. Yeah, that's what I expected. This is going to bring in a lot of drivers. About maybe a dozen on pit road at one point. So we're talking about you get 1 lap on someone, you could pass them. And if I'm Jeff Wright, at this point, maybe you have, if you can go any longer on fuel, you might have to try to go a little longer just to get the tire advantage. But you might have lost the lead at this point. It looks like he's going to come down. He's really going to push it, trying to make up for that difference. As is Baffert. That was really fast for Jeff Wright, though. Fishtailing it into pit road.
Going to be close for the 48, but I think he's going to be okay.
It was close. He hit the timing line at about 60 to going down, so we'll see.
It leaves Chad Klinger out here on the racetrack. He has a lap led now. Of course, Chad just missed that top 12. Had a string of races that put him out of contention. He's been fast all season long. He's had some hiccups here and there. Here he comes down pit road and sideways. More drifting. Eric Hutton just behind him.
And Hutton actually had a much cleaner edge. Sure he is. Looks like Wright is clean. He's all good off of pit road. Baffert, everyone else is out. Don't see anyone who's sped quite yet, but not waiting on too many more other drivers to pit. Weekly, Klinger, Hutton, Lakatos are the top 4 that have not pit yet. Ray Massey, one of those drivers who pit much earlier than everyone else. He would cycle out to be the leader for now.
So a lap led now for the 13. A valuable bonus point when you're sitting up here in the top. When we talked about the split, this was less than 16 points between a lot of the guys from 4th on back.
Baffert coming back to pit lane. Must have sped on exit or something, or maybe a pit exit violation.
That might do it for the 14.
Trying to look at the replay. I think it must have been speeding on exit or something. Yeah, it had to be what it was. He looked like he sped right before the timing line ended. So speeding on exit is going to have a hold. That'll put him a lap or two down.
So pit stops about to cycle all the way through. Casey Lakatos, the last car on the racetrack that is yet to pit. Ray Massey will take over the lead after the 50 car hits pit road. Looks like Lakatos going to string it out one more lap here to get that lap led. 50 car across the line now. Officially one in the books for that bonus point. Here's Massey and Joshua Banks. 12 and 13. 13, 14 now on the stint. These guys pitted a lot earlier than everyone else. But you're going to see the other side of that here in about 20 laps. Jeff Wright is starting to close up the gap.
Might be quicker than that even, as these two are running 32.6s. Jeff Wright was a full second faster than that. So maybe about 4 to 5 laps if that rate keeps its pace up. It's not going to be too much longer. But these are drivers, with how early they pit, I would not be surprised to see if they try an extra stop for tires, as Lakatos finally just came down to pit lane. Just 10 laps earlier, 10, 15 laps earlier, it's got to be a different strategy, or just a swing for the fences if you're really trying to make something happen. And especially for Joshua Banks, you really need something to happen.
The important part of this entire story is Joseph McWhorter did not win that battle on and off pit road. He is a half a second behind Jeff Wright, and Jeff Wright looks like he's in tire conservation mode. No reason to push the issue. The two cars in front of him, of course, have like 10 lap older tires. There's no reason for Jeff Wright to drive hard until maybe the 73 gets to his back bumper. He's just going to take it easy.
I think clean air still matters, but the undercut, it doesn't seem very valuable at all. The tires fall off so quickly, you just lose that time back and then some. It seems like for a lot of drivers. 33 pit a little earlier, and he's kind of paying the price right now. He could be in conserve mode as well, but he was not able to hold off McWhorter like I thought he might be able to. So that seems like going long for the tires might be best case scenario. We'll just see what these drivers want to do on their last pit stop. It should be their last pit stop if we get to that point.
So it's Ray Massey, Joshua Banks, Jeff Wright, Joseph McWhorter, and AJ Stravado, the top 5. Massey getting challenged here by Joshua Banks. Onto the outside, out of turn 4. Banks is going to try to lead a lap. Here he comes across the stripe. There's one in the books for him now.
Ray Massey a little slower at this point. Banks is going to just get the lead before that 48 gets there. He might be there into turn number 1 next lap. Closing rate's pretty fast. McWhorter's got about a second on Stravado. Daniel Cunningham cycled into the 6th position for the time being. He's one of those drivers who pit a little earlier than everyone else as well.
This is outside the top 10. We're looking at Dustin German. He just got around Max Kost for the 14th spot. Angelo Huronis is going to the inside of Reggie Ortega. Jeff Wright now passing for second. He's about to challenge Joshua Banks to get the lead back. Casey Lakatos on fresher tires. He's the one that stayed out the longest here. Blocked to the bottom in 1 and 2. 48's going to have to work for it.
I don't know if Banks was trying to block, like if he saw him and tried to chop him, or he was trying to give the 40 a different lane. That didn't work out, but McWhorter's going to get boxed in here too because he committed low. Lakatos, with fresher tires, gets lower than him. He's able to pass all these guys. That's how much fresher tires matter right now. McWhorter's going to get second here as we cross the halfway point next time by.
It's got to be frustrating now for the 35 car. The 2 cars, again, that he needs to beat are now passing him for position. Jeff Wright takes over the point on lap 70. That brings us to the halfway point. And you know what we like to do here, Saturday Night Racing League live on V-Speed. It's a perfect opportunity to talk with our sponsor, 29 Graphics. And let's get loud here for a few laps. Find that volume knob, turn it up. that was Get Loud here, presented by 29 Graphics and Julio Villalobos Jr. Villalobos, yeah. I'm working on it here on V-Speed. This is one of those names that gets me every time. I think it's more than 2 syllables. It just breaks my brain, Connor. I don't know. Oh, boy, we're on board with him.
Oh, well, that's good timing and goodness.
Hold on to it.
He is fighting the right rear tire. As a lot of other drivers were. I even saw the leader at the end of the last run on tires sliding out of turn 4. Definitely a trouble spot, it seems. Right now is Dakota Floyd, another driver trying to get through the field in his Toyota Supra. Started 25th up to 16th during this green flag stretch. Once again, we only have 1 caution to this point. He's trying to battle Eric Hutton, who's kind of stayed put. Has not gone forward like I thought he might. 8 lead changes, even though we've only had that 1 caution. One of those lead changes did happen on pit road under caution.
And again, take a quick look at the weather. Last time we looked at it, 126 was the track temp. It's 130 now. It's not getting any better out there for these guys.
And it's not going to get better for a while. Although saying that, looks like maybe a little bit of a shade coming over the racetrack into turn number 1. So it looks like turn 1 is in mostly shade. Maybe not as much shade in turn 2, but that might bring that track temp down maybe a tiny bit if it stays over the racetrack for a long while.
It's amazing how just one little cloud can make all the difference in your race line, and sometimes you're just praying for one cloud so you can save some tires, maybe get the advantage, change up your line into the wall there for the 88.
You don't want to change up your line to that point, but he did smacked it pretty good.
Yeah, the Weekly just got around Max Cost there for 19th. Weekly, of course, was one of those cars that stayed out a lot longer than the rest of this field. He's 14 laps now on this stint, clawing his way back towards the top 10. Last time by, he was about 3/10 faster than everyone in front of him.
Big squeeze. There's a battle for 10th. Alex Bell and Chuck Sweeting almost came together. Sweeting, once again, trying that bottom line. Oh, my goodness. Bell's almost losing on this tri-oval in the transition with the apron. It's just so hard to keep the bottom line pinned down. Almost had a crash out of 4 because of it. I got crashes in the tri-oval because of that transition from the apron to the banking.
Been there. I don't know about you, Connor, but sometimes you just get hypnotized. You accidentally tag that apron a little too hard, and suddenly you find yourself kissing the outside wall.
By the way, it's this cloud cover that's starting to go away a little bit. You can see what it did to the track temp. It went from 130 to 127. It was only for about 2-3 minutes. It just makes that much of a difference as sunlight's starting to pop out maybe a little bit more.
It's probably going to be dependent on where you put that thermometer, too. You're going to go out there and read what part of the racetrack. I mean, down at the bottom in 1 and 2, I don't think it's chilled off very much at all, but you see right here in the shade in 3 and 4, maybe down the front stretch, it has cooled off quite considerably. 3 degrees, that could be all the difference with a 1/10 of a second for some of these guys.
Yeah, 4 degrees down to 126 now, but it definitely makes a difference. Maybe opens up the lanes a little bit more when it's getting a little cooler like this. You're starting to see more drivers get back to that bottom line, like Stravado, who's not had a great run after pitting a little bit earlier than everyone else. Thought he'd be able to keep pace with the top 2 more, but he's fallen 4 seconds off of Jeff Wright. He's now 2.1, 2.2 seconds off Mick Waters. So once again, like we were talking about, that undercut, it just doesn't seem like it's the way to go at all.
Dakota Floyd in the 57 on your screen. He's gained 10 positions almost here. 9 spots right now. And just in front of him, Dustin Germain. He's got 16 spots here today, up to 15th. So kudos to him, and a great run here for the 66. It's been a quiet day for him overall, but worth noting from 31st to the top 15.
I will say the only person who might be doing okay with the undercut for now is Joshua Banks. He pit so much earlier than everyone else. He pit from 6th position, and he's still running in the 5th position. He's about to lose one here to Bailey Turner most likely, but it seems like if you undercut by only maybe a couple laps to 5 laps, it's not good. But you got to go, if you go hard with it, go very early, you might be able to make something work. It seems like the only way you can make that work is by doing it with a big chunk.
Well, that's what Vegas is all about here. Taking a gamble, rolling the dice, doing something a little bit different than everybody else. But while we size this up and talk about green flag pit stops for a second round, we're going to take a quick commercial break live here on V-Speed. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League. We'll be back right after this.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
Back live at Las Vegas. We're watching Joshua Banks right now. He'll be one of the first cars to come down pit road. 38 laps on this stint. Jeff Wright is out front, passing Jerry Bergeron right now. 67 laps led. That should lock him up for the double bonus point for leading the most laps here today. I don't think anybody's going to touch that. One caution here today. We've had about 8 or 9 lead changes as we square it off. Joseph McWhorter, second in points, second in this race. He is 3.5 back, Connor.
And the only problem with that is first in points is also first in the race, so he's doing everything he can do except beat that 48. Jeff Wright looking pretty dominant right now. He's the only driver I'm seeing, one of a few drivers I'm seeing still in the 32-second bracket at this point in the run. Multiple tenths faster a lap compared to McWhorter. McWhorter is still faster than most of the people he's in front of by about 2.4 seconds, but just no one's keeping pace with Jeff Wright right now. That lead is almost up to 4 seconds.
So here we sit. What's the strategy now? I mean, if you're Banks, yeah, you're coming down pit road, but does this undercut with 50 to go, does that really benefit you at the end of this run?
The problem with this is I'm not even sure if he can make that work. We went yellow with... we went back green around lap 23. The furthest anyone ever went on their stint last run was Case Lakatos, and he went maybe 42 laps on that stint.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't that long, and so I don't think he can make it.
Yeah, the math ain't mathin'. That's one way to put it. So he's going to need a big break, I would think, unless Casey just cut it short, but I don't think that's the case. He's won the stretch to fuel to the extent of it, so it's going to be tough to come back from that. He probably needs a yellow. A bunch of others need a yellow. Ben Baffert needs a yellow as well. He did not have a stop and hold. He did get that cleared, but he did do a pass-through penalty. So he's on the same tires as everyone else. The problem is, obviously, he's at the tail end of a lead lap, basically, and just hoping for a yellow to get back into track position. Ryan Carwile, chase driver, he needs a yellow. He dropped out right after we went back green. So he's 3 laps down when he probably should not be. So a few drivers just hoping for a yellow, and a few drivers, well, I say few drivers. One driver probably does not want a yellow. I think everyone else would take one.
There he is on your screen right there. And,
that would be
you
him.
know, the scenario here, though, with Case Lacatis, that's what I worry about. Even if he can make it for the 35 team, he's going to be in this boat, where by the end of the run, he's going to be on the edge of something, and it might be the edge of the top 10. By it's all said and done, these guys are going to stretch this out as far as they can. This is a gamble here for the 35 team. However, I like it. It's different. Nobody else is doing it. We'll just have to find out if there's a reason that nobody else is doing it.
Even Ray Massey, who did not pit, he feel like he pit around the same time. He pit maybe a lap after the 35. He's actually been able to stay on track for a little bit longer. So this has worked out maybe a little better for him, but even he's pushing the fuel window for sure here. He had pit from 12th on lap 52. So like we were talking about, if you do a giant undercut, it can work out because the tires even out to the point where everyone catches you. He's going, this is going to be his about 43rd lap. So he's going to, like we said, he's going to be, oh, I mean, Cunningham hit the wall hard there behind him. But he's really pushing the window hard right now. I can't imagine that 35 is going to be able to make it without hard saving the fuel.
So take a look back here at 1 lap down now in 25th spot. The Matco Tools 35. He is catching up to Casey Lacatis just now coming out of turn 2. This is, man, it just seems like more of what we saw in the regular season. Jeff Wright gets out to such a lead that everybody else behind him starts doing things they might not be comfortable with just to try, just to win. It gets more and more difficult the further back you are behind Joseph McWhorter. If there's anybody that has a shot, probably the 73 car to take it away, but he's going to have to do something dramatic.
Yeah, I don't even think you can do anything dramatic. You're not going to take 2 tires, that's for sure. Reggie Ortega's going to pit from 16th. Maybe that starts the cycle, but it's still a little earlier than you want to go. Eddie Trejo from 21st will pit. But we should still be waiting on more drivers. The bulk of the field will probably wait a little longer, as Ray Massey did say he's going to pit this time. So that window might work out for Massey. He was able to stretch the fuel about 45 laps, so that's good for him. So if he can make that work again, he'll be fine.
I don't know if Eddie's paying any attention to us, but wave that wheel back and forth if you can hear us, Eddie. Don't do it and wreck yourself, though.
No, especially not on pit lane.
4.1 seconds there briefly. I believe Jeff Wright is backing it up a little bit here.
We did have a change. We did have a change for third about a lap or 2 ago. Horonis chased down the 33 of Travato and got around Travato. Now the 33 peels off the pit, going for another undercut. But Horonis passed him legit. Travato really struggled that run. Mahalski pit with him as well. So slow trickle, just like we saw the first set of green flag pit stops. Slow trickle down to pit lane as the 48's lead is pretty much the length of the back straightaway.
Well, let's see if we can get a blimp camera to show you this. This is probably not going to do it justice here. Yeah. Let's see if we got something else. Okay. So now, blimp static camera. He's going into turn 1. And right there crossing the line is the 73. It's actually, yeah, I was a little bit behind on that, but you get the point. Let's just ride on board with him. It's an eternity.
Yeah, big time. Almost can't even see him, can't even pay attention to what he's doing at this point. Maybe he was behind him earlier to try to learn from him. Almost certainly did not learn enough because he is so far out there. And that lead will probably grow if this goes green to the end. It will be even more big because it looks like Seth Hatchell's going to come down from 4th. Not too many others this time down. Looks like Daniel Cunningham pit. Jerry West, Max Cost.
This is a quiet race at this point. Who's going to pull a strategy to maybe pick up some positions? This is what I'm looking at here You know, max cost coming in around the 12th position. Some of these guys that are in the top 10 in points can still make up some spots. There's still, you know, things are up for grabs from 3rd, 4th spot. Cost is definitely on the hot seat as far as points go right now. He needs to have a top 10 here today.
Some chase drivers in, Shoemaker's in behind Caleb Weekly. Jeff Wright, he's not going to go as long as I thought he might. Wright's actually just going to pit now. So I would not be surprised if this forces McWhorter's hand to just try to go long and maybe hope for a yellow. I would not be surprised if that's what he did, but race leader's in.
Well, do you want to take a gamble? What's the odds on that? What's the V-speed odds for something like that to work out here in a race that's only had one caution? The entire field is spread out.
It'd be pretty high, but it'd pay out a lot. So I'd take it to our resident gambler, Alec Martinez. I'm sure he has a better idea.
Don't say that too loud. The guy's just getting out of high school, isn't he?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Congrats to him as well on graduating. Shout out to Alec Martinez, the resident gambler. Make it sound like he needs rehab.
Not quite. It's like Bryce Shoemaker sped on pit lane. He's coming to take his drive-through penalty. So that's the 2nd or 3rd speeding penalty I've seen. Ben Batford came down. Hopefully he did not speed this time. Well, last time it was on exit, so hopefully it's not. Hopefully it doesn't happen this time. And I think he was very clearly not speeding that time.
Well, cautious that time around.
Yeah, I'll say.
What's that stamped on that dash right there? Do you see that?
I see it. Just shouting out his favorite college. Aronis and Hutt just came down.
Huh.
Covering his name, though. It's not very well thought out.
Yeah, we don't always execute things well here on V-Speed either. And there's 73 coming down pit road. He didn't stretch it. I mean, the odds right now is just, well, salvage the day. It's a 2nd place finish.
I'm not sure how much further he could have stretched it. He pit lap 60. This would be about that 44, 45 lap range. I think he did go about as far as he could. There's other drivers who stretched it a little further the previous run compared to him. We might see go longer, like a Bailey Turner, Alex Bell. Those are pretty much the last two left.
Yeah. Well, and as far as the guy that's going to save fuel and take it as far as you can, this is the one right here. He's won many races doing this exact thing. However, tonight, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You let that leader get 7-8 seconds ahead of you. He's going to get some laps led, 24 across the line. However, I'm still interested. What's going on with the beef back here, the 15? He's lost sight of Bailey Turner. We're talking 1.9 seconds, but these two definitely duked it out in the first 20.
Instead of trying to run into him, he just decided to beat him straight up on track, and it's working right now. 24 is definitely faster at this point in the run. 2-second gap. McWhorter came out just in front of the 15. He's yet to pit, and he'll try to make up whatever ground he can. He did stay out long, and he did lose some positions because of it. Stravato and Jeff Wright are at least 7 seconds up the road. Stravato came out of pit lane maybe about a second behind the 48. Not enough to get track position over him at any point. As a Bell peeled off this previous lap. Bailey Turner probably not too far behind.
Yeah, this is 46, 47 laps for these two cars. That is definitely stretching it. That's the furthest that we've seen anybody take it here today. Another lap around for the 24. I think this is the guy that's praying for the caution now. Does it? I don't know, man. The 44, these guys were getting a little squirrely into one, a little offset 3 wide with the fresher tires.
Really, really tight. McWhorter trying to hustle up back to where he's back to his positions. This is all 4 position. Dustin German, Dakota Floyd. He just pit so late that he got caught behind all these drivers, so he's gonna have to hustle back up to 2nd.
We got a limited amount of time as we cross the stripe now.
Turner's in.
31 laps to go. Yeah, you had to try something though, and whatever Jeff Wright's doing, do the exact opposite. That's how you can end up in the right place. We saw it during the regular season. The 24 just ended up staying out. The Rabbit's Foot just worked out for him. ended up getting his first win of the season, then backed it up again there. He's strung together quite a few impressive performances in the 24 team.
And at this point, we had everyone pit lap 20, and we've had 2 green flag cycles at this point in the race, which means there's really no strategy besides taking, if there was a yellow, there's no strategy as far as if you don't have a set of tires. Everyone should have 1 set left. The only strategy would be to take 2 or 4 or stay out altogether, but everyone has a set if they need it.
Well, it's good to have options in case we do get a late caution. Some of these guys, I guarantee from 10th on back, are going to come in there and use every set they have. When you tell them there's a chance that they can run down Jeff Wright on 4 fresh ones, they're going to take it. I would not want to be the 48 car to make that decision, though, because everybody else is going to do the exact opposite. When you come out here and dominate a day like he has, everyone is against you.
Yeah, if we get a yellow, we'll almost certainly see some drivers try 2 tires. Almost no one will try to stay out. As even with the long green flag run, everyone's cycled out. No one's left the pit, besides maybe the 35 because he might not have the fuel. But still have 25 drivers on the lead lap. Although Jeff Wright had about a 4-second lead at the end of the previous run before the pit stops. Not too much attrition. 4 drivers out of the race and not too many drivers a lap down. Ben Bafford's actually still tail end of the lead lap in 25th.
Looking at this now, Chuck Sweeting up to 3rd. A lot of positions gained throughout the day, but ultimately he started in the 4th spot. He's been in and out of the top 5 a lot today. Comes down to crunch time. 30 roughly. That was, I believe, Lakatos in front of Hatchell.
Toss in front of Hatchell. It was Hatchell who almost knocked the wall down, but that safer barrier going away kind of saved him from knocking it down. As Toss is the first driver lap down. He's not really battling anyone for that lucky dog spot. He has it until Keith Shoemaker would be the next driver to go a lap down now as Baffert got past him.
Onto the high line here for the 75 of Sweeting. This is for a podium spot. 3rd position up for grabs. This is actually one of the closest battles on the racetrack right now is for the 3rd position.
Yeah, just still looking at McWhorter. He's going to be there soon enough. He just got by Ray Massey and Joshua Banks the previous lap. He will probably get Chad Klinger in the next lap.
Can't have any hiccups, though, if you're the 73. You got to get by and get quick, and he'll race his way back up to the top 3, I'm sure. But once you get to that plateau, it's where do you go from there?
You need to at least keep some juice left in the tires to make sure you can get back by Stravato. That's one thing he has to be careful of for sure.
And Stravato's a solid 2 seconds ahead as of right now.
And gap is coming down pretty fast. We got a spin on pit entry, I think. Keith Shoemaker. He was coming down pit road. He had an issue, but gets it back going, which obviously stayed green. Guess he couldn't make it on fuel either.
31 locks it up here.
Ooh, that was maybe too much rear brake, I would say.
Slides it towards the inside wall, has to back it up to straighten it out. He's good now, though.
McWhorter just got by Chuck Sweeting, and you'll probably get Seth Hatchell into turn number 1, or at least have a look outside or inside in turn number 1. Overcut paying dividends right now, but he is not really gaining on Stravato. The gap has stayed, even though he's slicing and dicing through these guys, he's still about 2 seconds off the 33, although he is still 0.7 of a second faster than the 33, so that gap should be coming down pretty quickly.
Now, if it evens out, though, you're going to kind of reach that moment where 11 laps versus 18 laps, probably around another 10 or so, you're not going to see that 0.6 of a second faster. You're going to see maybe 1/10 of a second. And if he makes any mistakes here, he also has a car in front. I believe that's Lakatos up there. So he's got to work with that as well. Lap down car could be a factor.
And there's still battles all over the track as well. It's gotten very spread out, really inside the top 10. Dakota Floyd, Eric Hutton. Hutton's gotten through the field a little quickly. He just went 13th to 11th within the previous 2 laps. He's going to try to get the Mahalski for a top 10 here in a short amount of time. Philip Brewer's going backwards. Bailey Turner just got past him. on the freshest tires of anyone else in the field on the lead lap. Alex Bell's trying to follow him through on a similar strategy.
So that's a very huge cut. We're talking, what, 10 laps for some of these guys. Reggie Ortega being the next one in front here of Bailey Turner, but do they have enough time to get back to the top 10? That's 5 spots here.
Trying to look at Turner. I think trying to see how far up Hutton is. It's not
About
too
4
bad.
seconds.
It's not too bad considering the tire difference. Hutton ran a 32.8 last time by. Bailey Turner a 32.3. If they don't even out too badly, I think he'll have a shot to get to him. I don't know about the 15. His tire's a little bit older. He's just gonna have to try to follow Turner through really in case anything happens. As McWhorter is within a second of Stravato now.
30 laps to go now as they cross that stripe. 20 laps to go, rather. And you see second position up for grabs. Joseph McWhorter, AJ Stravato. 33 car. I mean, he's been in the top 3 all day long. He's probably going to end up with a podium finish, barring that we don't have a caution.
You know, it's probably going to infuriate Stravato. The 50 was being a nice guy, just kind of giving a 33 a push. He gets back by the 33 of Stravato, and he just can't get away, and Stravato's faster than him, so it's just going to put dirty air on the nose of a 33, and I don't think Stravato's going to have anything to fight McWhorter with.
Well, the 50 is going to go up to the high line, give some dirty air to the 73 car, but now he gives it back to the 33, and you see he has to lift right there, and that's going to do it for second.
That's all McWhorter needed. He just needed to get back to second, doing the overcut. It's like, all right, I did my part. Just got to maybe hope for a miracle caution or something. That gap is about 5.5 seconds. And you know he has fresher tires, almost certainly won't come down far enough to trouble Jeff Wright.
Last time by.
Last time by, Wright's faster.
Wow.
Even still, you know, making time up, you know, McWhorter's making passes, and even still, McWhorter pit lap 105. Jeff Wright was in on lap 102. 3-lap difference, and Wright was faster. It's like we always say it with him because he's always doing this at the 1.5 miles. So it's just such a scary combination. You have the tire saving capability, but you also have the speed to get about half a straightaway lead. You don't beat that.
Yeah, it's difficult. And then you don't have that guy in front of you to kind of judge your position or if you're doing anything wrong. Jeff Wright's been pretty meticulous about showing his hand early in this race. And he wasn't bluffing, though. Once he got back to that lead, pull out 5-6 seconds. That's what you got to do here at Vegas. Keep that clean air on the nose. Jeff Wright's going to come by for another lap led.
McWhorter's going to pretty much cruise away with second. He's going to bring the 50 with him. The other driver who's trying to follow him through the field was Angel Horones. He's up to 6th. He's now hounding Chuck Sweeting for that top 5 position. He wants the outside. Sweeting's going to block it. Horones is going to go a little higher, trying to get the run off the corner with the fresher tires, but just got a little too tight. So Sweeting's going to be able to hold him off for a little bit longer. By the way, Bailey Turner's maybe a second away from being in the top 10. So those fresher tires going long might help him out at the end of the day. It's Joshua Banks. We still don't know if he can make it on fuel, but he's hanging on for dear life.
Sitting in the 10th position right now for Joshua Banks. He's leading Dakota Floyd, the 66 of Dustin German. There's Bailey Turner diving to the inside.
Whoa.
Way up the racetrack here, almost 3 wide.
He's in the marbles up there. Floyd's going to go to the inside. This will maybe hurt Turner a little bit. This is not what Jeff Wright would like to be watching. 2x2 for 10th position. He's going to look 3 wide to the bottom into turn number 3.
He's going to go for it.
Going to be a tight squeeze for all 3 drivers. Turner's got the grip to stay down there. Floyd got sideways. And Turner's probably going to make this work into turn number 1 easy. He might clear him before turn 1. Great pass there.
A little loose there, but get enough of the grip, and that's the scrub off and the tires that are 7-8 laps older. So up to 10th now for the 24. Eric Hutton would be the next car. He's about a second ahead, just under that. Coming out of turn 4 now, Jeff Wright You saw the lead with McWhorter. It was about 5.5. I don't think Jeff's really pushing this car. Last time by, identical lap times. He just maintains the gap. 33.330. That's pretty consistent.
Aronis has gotten by Chuck Sweeting. He just got around the outside of Chad Klinger. That puts him up into a 5th position. Looking like it's going to be a tall task to get back to Stravato, because before pit stops happened, he did get Stravato for 3rd, but McWhorter got back to his spot. Not sure if the 29 is going to be able to do the same, but still got about 12 laps to go before that's possible. This battle for 11th. It might turn into a battle for 12th. It's still heating up, and if Banks can't make it on fuel, he's going out in style, because I can't imagine he's saving anything right now.
Oh, you can't. This right now is... Oh, it's the entire season into the turn 2 wall right there.
Didn't hurt him too much. He is not letting Dakota Floyd go easily, and it's kind of a game of cat and mouse. The 35's trying to pin the 57 down a little bit, but Dakota Floyd at the same time, he's trying to shove the 35 up the racetrack. So they're both hurting each other, and Justin German is just like, come on, guys, just race. They let me go, one of the two. He just can't do anything. He's not willing to go 3 wide. That's the Alex Bell. He is catching little fresher tires, not as well as the 24, but he's closing it ever so slightly, and Mahalski's also watching this go on.
Once again, for the 11th through 14th position, Mahalski on the same tires, but he hasn't been racing quite as much side by side. He's going to try the low line. Watch these guys dive in and out of 3 and 4. 10 to go as they cross the stripe, and Jeff Wright again, 5.5 seconds last time by. 33.4. He's still a little bit quicker than McWhorter all the way up the track here.
It's just crazy to see how much higher this group has moved at both ends of the racetrack. I thought it'd be tough to see it move that far up in turns 1 and 2. I kind of expected in 3 and 4, but this is something else. Everyone is pretty much next to the wall back here. Most of the front runners are not doing this, but all these guys searching for grip, they have no choice. This is Jerry Bergeron just pit from about 24th.
Dustin German wants these guys out of his way so bad. Now Mahalski's going to dive it all the way down. Can he get 3 of them?
Well, he saw everyone going to the high side. He figured, I might as well try it, but
he's going to get 1, maybe.
He might get German. I don't think he didn't want to force the issue. Bell and fresher tires, he just got to stay in line because now Mahalski's hogging the line that he was probably going to take. Now we got 6 cars battling for 11th place. And here goes Bell through the middle. That's going to be tight, but he got it to go. He's going to get by Mahalski and have a decent run to go 3 wide. No, we got to... Oh, Mahalski slid there. Oh,
there it
is. Caution's out with 8 to go. And you know what? We saw that coming.
Yeah, we did.
That was one of the most obvious cautions of the season. And Jeff Wright's 5.5-second lead.
The pace car, that scared me.
Pace car is totaled, but that 5.5-second lead is completely erased, and all normality is out the window. They did 4 wide for a split second. I thought Mahalski was spinning. And then here, they just come together. It's something we see at Kansas a lot, fighting for the top line.
Yep.
But we were talking about the line has moved up so much here to the point where it just happened here. And we're talking about 6 cars under a blanket. This is always going to happen, as this is going to be very crazy. And I didn't notice that. That's why German got to the outside. Banks got so loose off of 4, it stacked everything up, let German get a run. And Floyd and his kind of came together. Just racing there, as now the entire field will come down for their last set of tires.
Interesting McWhorter not on the back bumper of the 48 car there. That's a big gap there. Jeff Wright pretty much guaranteed to get in and out.
Yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, I would be.
And right here, you see McWhorter, he's into the box perfect. He could probably have won that position, been the command car.
Ooh, we got... Oh, that's Baffert. I forgot Baffert's still getting into a stall. He's so far back. Eric Hutton is going to be ample for the 2-tire stop, and he'll get out first.
Did you saw that run that McWhorter just had? He made up enough time. I think if he was on the back bumper of Jeff Wright coming into the pit stall, or into the pits, he probably would have got that spot. Eric Hutton's going to be the command car now with
You know what the issue was?
what?
The issue was in the pit entry, Villalobos was like pinching McWhorter on pit entry. I think he was confused. I think the 45 might have thought he was supposed to pit there, and because you can't pass a lapped car on pit entry, or else it gives you a penalty. You can see the 45 just kind of pinching the 73 down. I think he thought he needed to pit, but it wasn't open for him, and that's why McWhorter could not close up to the 48. Yeah, that's definitely what happened. Villalobos, in that situation, you can't pit as a lap car. You just stay right behind the pace car so everyone can get more stacked up. But that wasn't the case. He cost McWhorter 3 or 4 car lengths in doing that.
Interesting. Very interesting there. What else is interesting? 2-tire stop for Eric Hutton. I mean, why not? Got a quiet night. He's been maybe top 10 at best. Let's see what he's got.
And it's going to be I think it's going to be a 3-lap restart, so I don't think that plays into his hands at all. I'm interested to see.
Do we see another caution?
I'd be shocked if we didn't. The caution's precautioned, especially after a race that's gone so green. I think it only makes sense to have some rain down here. As that track time's back up to 130, sun came back out. This is going to be interesting. I mean, the 88 could get a decent jump here and maybe lead through 1 and 2, but I think his run off of turn 2 is not going to be great, and it's really going to be 3 and 4 that kills him. I don't see this working, especially because he's the only one on this strategy. If he got yellows before we got out of 2, it could work in that instance, but if this goes green, probably no shot. But I am interested to see what lane he takes, because that'll really dictate who can get a jump on the 48 potentially. He picks the outside, it really doesn't give the 73 a good shot, but it would give the 33 a good shot. If he picks the bottom, that would help McWhorter out a lot more.
Very interesting, as we'll have 3 to go when we take the green flag. A couple cars going to get the wave around here. It looks like the 45, the 1, and the 43 are going to get back on the lead lap. We have what appears to be 5 cars. Philip Brewer, Ron Carwile, Ethan Collier, Mark McFadden, Justin Ritchie, and Logan Threlkeld out of the race here. 27 cars still out there.
And this is going to be interesting because he did pick the bottom. So McWhorter, in my opinion, McWhorter's got to make this work. He's got to be ready on this restart. He's got to be on Hutton's bumper. He's got to time it perfectly. This is the best chance he's going to have to get by the 48. Probably his only chance.
Wheel spin, though, from the 88 car. Very, very possible. We saw how treacherous this trial's been for a lot of these cars, and now trying to connect that on 2 tires. Eric Hutton, the only car to do that 2-tire stop.
Yeah, I'm sure he thought other drivers would maybe take the risk and go for it, like Banks or something. But it was not the case. Now he's on an island. He's got to stick to it. He was running about 9th before that caution, so he was in a pretty good running position. But he's going for it here.
Oh, go for it all. Roll the dice. Eric Hutton, 2-tire stop. 3 laps to go when the pace car gets out of the way. Jeff Wright, who's dominated the day on the outside. Joseph McWhorter, who's been in the shadow all season, trying to get around the 48. Green flag's out. Back underway. He's got the door to the inside.
Hutton got away well. No wheel spin, really, and McWhorter did get a good jump. He could clear him into turn number 1. This could be huge. He's got him. He has cleared the 48, and now what he's got to do, he's got to be the inside or outside of Hutton. He cannot get stuck behind him here.
We get 2 to go here. 48, you know, is about to try something. Dive to the inside in 3.
Oh, Hutton's loose. He slid. Here comes McWhorter. He's going to take the lead. Right into the wall. Oh, he's going to crash. There he goes. He's into the wall. They're 5 wide. This is huge for the title. Mahalski's going to spin out into turn number 1. The caution is out. McWhorter leads, and the title fight just got even crazier.
Jeff Wright sliding across the tri-oval all the way back to 12th position with damage on that 48 machine.
He's got a whole rear bumper knocked off of that car. He's not going to have any speed whatsoever. He's almost got to repair that. Oh, my goodness.
Gonna watch the 88 get loose here.
This was my fear on 2 tires. It's gonna slide, and in sliding, McWhorter's able to get to the outside, but Jeff Wright has to swerve up, and he just can't do it without hitting the wall. He hit it hard, came down to 0.9. He hit the back of the 48 hard, and all that. I think Mahalski might have gotten a tag from Reggie Ortega, and that's what set off the caution. But holy cow, what a turn of events for the title in the race. This is a huge opportunity for the 73 to take the title lead now. You can see right here, 88 gets loose. Literally the only thing Jeff Wright can do is swerve up to try to avoid him. He didn't even really swerve up. He just ran out of real estate to make it work. And then that's where that's where the rear end damage comes from.
But how about handling that car across the tri-oval? That's wheeling it. I mean, he's drifting. He got hit in the back. That's what took the rear end off of it. I want to see who it was there that got a piece of Jeff Wright.
It was Chad Klinger right here. I don't know if Massey might have tapped him. And Klinger's gone out of the race because of this as well.
The 3 of Mahalski down to the inside wall. That's a top 12 driver done for the day as well.
And that's, like I said, that's where the caution came out, and all the checkup because of that. Ortega couldn't check up for Mahalski and turn the 0-3 around. But this is wild. That is such a huge flip because this was Jeff Wright. He was going to extend the lead with 2 races to go, really be on his way to probably locking up 2 in a row, but now he's going to restart 11th, and like I said, he has no rear deck lid. Well, he has a deck lid, but it's hanging on. He has no rear bumper, and with the way this new damage model works, that takes so much speed away from your car. It's not really realistic, in my opinion. I feel like it shouldn't slow the car down, but it does slow the car down an extreme amount. He's going to have nothing on this restart. He's probably going to lose more and more positions. I would have pit.
Be happy to be in the top 15 here.
Yeah, I would have tried to pit for that damage. I know you don't have tires, but I think you need that deck.
Well, do you think he's getting much information from behind right now about how much damage he has?
Unless the rear bumper, unless it looks different on Bafford's screen. I mean, Bafford's in the same Discord as Jeff, so you would think he'd be saying, but Jeff Wright might think his best chance for positions is not pitting and repairing it. This has really gotten crazy and flipped things on its head, as we're probably 2 laps to green. We're now in green-white checker territory. McWhorter got the lead, and Hutton did stay second. But like we said, that 2-tie call is not going to pay off well. And I just can't believe how much that flips things. It just changes the whole outlook of the last 2 races if it finishes this way.
This is McWhorter's race to lose at this point. He's been the second fastest car pretty much all day long. Based off of strategy, we have that late race caution with about 8 to go that brings them all grouped back up. They all come down pit road. Of course, Hutton, like we said, on 2 tires. The track temperature has not subsided. Well, I say that. It comes down 4 degrees. Why not? Can't be right about everything, but what we are right about right now, this is definitely shaking up the points. And if you're the 48 team, you're going into these next 2 weeks, you have to be perfect.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's not even really been Jeff Wright's fault that he hasn't been perfect. He was perfect the first 2 races, I would say. Not fully perfect, but he got the finishes he needed, and the point lead pretty much stayed comfortable. You can't really control much of Talladega, just caught up in the last lap calamity. Yeah. And what can you even say about this one? This might be the most laps led in a race without winning, unless some miracle happens. I mean, he dominated this race. He had no challenges once we went back green for the first caution, and just took one driver taking a 2-tire gamble and really messed up his whole world. And Hutton's in that Discord with him as well, so I can only imagine what the conversation there was. I'm sure.
Flying the wall in that room, huh?
I'm sure words are being held back, I would say. But besides that, he's gonna restart with no rear bumper. We're going to get the 1 to go with the McWhorter machine picking the bottom, seeing a huge opportunity in front of him.
We've seen him do things that baffle us every week, so we'll see if Jeff Wright can hold on to maybe get a top 10 here today. He's got a lot of cars around him. This is another situation for Joshua Banks as well. He's not going to get anything really on McWhorter, but he could stand to gain on Jeff Wright, and this could group all 3 of those cars back up here. So we get set to go green. Stravato letting the 73 know I'm back here. Green-white checkered attempt number 1 today. Pace car going to get out of the way. Can Eric Hutton hold on? There's the 8 of Hatchell on the outside.
He already slid once, so chances are he's going to slide again.
Yep, maybe it's going to be on this restart.
Hatchell's got to be careful big time.
Well, here we go. For 2 laps. Green flag is out. Just got to make it to the white one. Doesn't go. The 73 checks up here, and they're going to get a run into the inside.
Well, he went normal, but Travato definitely laid back there trying to time it. They're about 5 wide into turn number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to work.
Massey's around. Jeff Wright's going to be involved in this one as well. He's into the wall hard. And that might finish him off for the night.
It just went from bad to worse for the 48 team. And Ray Massey, kind of the start of this here.
It's what I talked about. 1 yellow is going to breed all this. And that's just aggressive racing at the end of an I-race, I guess. A 5 wide incident. That's never going to work. And it was Alex Bell who forced it 5. And Jeff Wright just could not avoid this one. I don't think I've ever seen 5 wide at Las Vegas until then. A lot of drivers got big piece of this one, but somehow I think the 48 got the worst of it.
That checkup from the inside there.
Yeah, that's what caused it. And Bell, Bell's saying over the radio he has to run, he has to take it, which he does, but there's no room for that to work. No chance. And 48 avoids, but Banks is right on his door, and there's just nothing he can do. And bam, Max Koss, Dakota Floyd, big hits there, as well as Daniel Cunningham. And this time, 48's just dragging that car back to pit lane. It is totaled.
Seen a lot more names grayed out here as cars are exiting the racetrack.
They just ran out of room.
Nowhere to go for him. I want to get a look here at Alex Bell's run. That's, it's one thing, but look, he's down below the line. I mean, he's there.
He's there, but it's not going to work. You got to be more aware of your surroundings. I understand. You got to take the run. And I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't consider taking it myself if I was in that situation, but it's got to be aware. Everyone's got to be on the radio saying, hey, this is 5. This is not going to work. We saw it right away. Some drivers might not have. But it's never going to work. Not a move you can make and make work. Wow, Dustin German did a great job getting through that there in a 66. I want to look at Shabato's POV after this as well, because he looked like he was really trying to time it, and he laid back. But watch this. Oh, man. Wow, I can't believe he got through that.
That's close.
Ooh, boy.
Got up to the top 10 because of that, too.
He started all the way back at 31st.
Backing up a little bit further here.
Because you can see he's laying back. He's about half a groove off. And once he gets in a restart zone, he's accelerating way more than the 73. It technically isn't a jump per iRacing rules, but it's pretty clear he's trying to roll it up and time it so he can maybe get a run on McWhorter. It's part of it. It's how the restart zones work, but it's just very obvious what's going down. And that definitely, I can almost certainly tell you, it's probably what caused Bell to get such a run to the inside, because it caused a little bit of a stack up on that inside line when the 33 got to the 73's bumper.
What I can tell you is that we need to unpack some things here. We're going to try to factor in all of the situations that have unfolded here in the last 10 laps at Las Vegas. What was a race that went 1 caution all the way up to lap 133 has now turned into 2 green-white checkers, and Joseph McWhorter could possibly be your points leader. In fact, I believe will be your points leader after tonight.
It's almost certain he's going to be the points leader. That 48, I don't know how he's even still rolling, but that thing is done. He's just limping. But he's just trying to get ahead of some drivers who weren't able to continue, like Massey's. I don't know how Massey went a lap down, but some of the drivers who were in that last crash that just crashed and left the room. He's just trying to get those spots. He's trying to get anything possible. This is, even with the bonus points, this is going to be a big loss. This is over a dozen points.
22nd position, and it could
and
turn
with two
into
races
worse
to
than that.
go, and with 2 races to go, this is like worst case scenario. He would have much rather have had this happen earlier. He would have much rather had this happen at Auto Club or North Wilkesboro. It could not happen now, but it has.
Connor, we've
Meanwhile-
caught a lot of them, man. We've caught a lot of them, but we know how it is here at SNR. It's competitive every week, and if somebody else doesn't, there's always someone there that's going to fill the void. Just how it is.
Yeah, this is going to be a big shakeup, and like you're talking about, this is huge for McWhorter, but like you said, this does help Joshua Banks a little bit. He will get closer to right for second, but he was 23 back of McWhorter coming into tonight. So he's got to find something here on this final restart. Will we see 5 wide again? Who knows? But this time, instead of a 33 being in row 2 on the inside, this time it's Chuck Sweeting. See what he does.
I'm also looking at the last 2 racetracks. We have Nashville and Phoenix, and those fit into the wheelhouse a little bit better for the 35. So it'd be interesting to see if he could end up the champion. This is a complete toss-up. Second green-white checkered attempt underway at Vegas.
See, that time Sweeting stayed off, but he did not roll to the 73, and that let these guys, they're going to be side by side for second. Sweeting might clear him, but it didn't cause the same stack up we saw. Although there's still 3 wide back there for about 6th.
Can we make it to the white flag? 3 wide back here. The 35 of Banks said, let's capitalize.
Noah Mahalski totaled. And we will go through all 3 attempts.
McWhorter just has to hold on one more time here.
That was at the very back of the field. That was a really odd incident. V-Speed instant replay.
Well, this car's very damaged. It probably snapped free on him. It's down on speed here. There's Ray Massey on the outside. Halski's trying to counter that car. I think it's just so bent.
Yeah, I don't know how much control he really had over it. But he came up in front of Massey, and it kind of caused a confusing situation for both drivers. And 23 couldn't prevent getting into the 03. Yeah, that thing is very towed out. I don't think he had much control over it.
Let's see if we can get a blimp camera. I mean, you're going to see the thing come off. It washes up out of 2, but I think he held his line after that. Once he found that, you know, the steering wheel is off center that much, I don't think he went up. He bobbles around a little bit here. That maybe
He comes up.
Massey.
I think it threw Massey off.
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying to spin him, but it threw him off. He didn't know if he had to go low or high, and then it just kind of got bobbled up, and contact was made. And the 03 was already totaled. It hurts even more now. This was a race, mind you. We went 133 laps green without more than 1 yellow. We've had 3 afterwards with 3 green-white checkered attempts. So in the history books, it doesn't look like that clean of a race.
Yeah, it's deteriorated a little bit here. Let's not take away from the fact Jeff Wright led the most laps here today. He's now in 25th. The shakeup in points. Joseph McWhorter,
Gosh.
he was stout competition all day long. If there was one guy that deserved to be the next one in line, it's the 73.
How many laps did he lead? He had to have led like 110 something. I mean, he had this race under total control with 105 laps led. That was really 105 of 133-ish laps led.
Well, this is the guy that led pretty much the rest of them.
Pretty much. It's him, McWhorter, Hutton, a few under yellow. But I can't get over it. I can't get over it. It's just such a twist.
Yeah, it hurts. I mean, you sit back and watch guys that have success all season long, and we're going to boil it down to just this race. This race right here could be the deciding factor in all of it. One one race for one lap, and you're in an entirely different situation. It only takes one, Connor. That's what I've been told.
It's definitely in for a show. That's for sure.
Well, we're hearing some some fuel saving here by the 73. They are 17 laps. I mean, they should be good to go. I think they came back down pit road, unless auto fuel may be a factor for the 73 team. I don't know what the situation is here. Is everybody going to make it?
Maybe just cooling the engine. I'm not sure. I can't imagine he underfueled the car on the last caution.
Oh, that would just bail Jeff Wright out entirely if he ran out of fuel. That's the only hope that Jeff has.
He's talking in radio like there's nothing wrong, so it might just be something he's casually doing. I wouldn't think too much of it. But it's going to be another interesting restart because this puts Travato back into third. And the restart prior when he was in third, they forced it 5 wide because of a stack-up he sort of caused. So I'm interested to see if Travato's plan will be the same as we look at the standings coming into tonight. It was a 7-point gap between Jeff Wright and James McWhorter. Jeff Wright was poised for win number 6 and poised to extend that point gap into the final 2 races. Caution with 8 to go. 88 stays out. Well, 88 takes 2 tires, gets loose in turn 3. Jeff Wright pounds the wall, gets collected in the caution afterwards as well. So this title fight is flip-flopped on its head, with McWhorter set to be the points leader and Wright projected to be probably over 15 points behind him as we get the 1 to green here.
No, I mean, of all the things that you could have saw here today, though, this makes our life a lot more exciting for this season. So this is just going to be another one of those great S&R finishes all the way to the very last race. Wish it wasn't like this in different circumstances where guys just, were battling for the points and all the way through to the end. Maybe McWhorter got up here and got the win. Jeff, finished 8th and tightened it up that way. But, after tonight, Jeff Wright's going to be kind of outside looking in. He's got 2 races left to recover from tonight. That's really what it's been here for pretty much the entirety of the chase, is guys that had great seasons have been in recovery mode ever since we reset the points. 75 and Chuck Sweeting, though, he's turned it around. He's got some luck on his side. He has a shot to win this race. Let's see if he can match the speed of the 73. McWhorter, one last green-white checkered here from Las Vegas. 3 races left, 3 laps left.
Go with 2.
Well, we're still counting this one, right?
Why not? 3 wide for third. Big squeeze. That's Hatchell to the inside. Chuck Sweeting got the door from Bailey Turner.
And Hatchell down to the bottom of the racetrack. They're going to touch doors down the back straightaway. The 8 of Hatchell's going to go to the 3 on the bottom.
Bergeron and Weekly in the back. They kept it straight. We might make it to the white this time.
Looks like we will. The 8 of Hatchell sent it deep, but McWhorter one more time around here from Vegas. White flag in the air, and it's official now.
15 extra laps to decide it. 33 is trying. Travato's trying to get a run into 3 for the final time. He'll have a little run, but he's not quite close enough.
Doesn't look like he's got enough in the tank. Car down on the apron. Sit down there. That was Dustin German. Chuck Sweeting falls back to 6th. One more attempt here for AJ Stravato off of turn 4. Sideways back in 5th. Heronis is around. But it's going to be Joseph McWhorter getting the victory. At Las Vegas, the shakeup in the points is complete.
That is clutch for sure. After what happened, McWhorter able to keep it clean, keep cool through 4 separate restarts. And he leads 33 laps to get the biggest win of his Saturday Night Racing League career. It looked like that was Heronis and Banks that came together out of 4. But McWhorter stands alone, top step of the podium. That is huge for the 73.
And we'll back that up here momentarily. We'll go back and look at what happened to Heronis and replay that last lap. But burning it down here on the front stretch, going to make sure it passes tech inspection. 73 victorious here today from Vegas. Let's take it back on that V-Speed instant replay. We got to go back and look at what exactly happened. This was off of turn 4, really, so we're going to watch the entirety of this last lap because I think it was Weekly and somebody else that got together as well.
Yeah, it looked like Caleb Weekly coming to the white flag. It was in turn 3 coming to the white. Bergeron and Weekly came together. This is afterwards. Then saw someone way down to the inside on the final lap as well. But we got to unpack all of this. The 33 once again got a little tried to get a jump on the 73. Wasn't good enough to stay close on his bumper, but it did get in front of Chuck Sweeting, and you can see Turner immediately after crossing the line was able to get inside Chuck Sweeting. The 75 didn't shut the bottom off. And they banged doors all the way through turns 1 and 2. Not quite sure how they made it work. And then it's Bergeron and Weekly into 3 where this occurs. Weekly all the way to the inside. Bergeron.
Wow.
They kind of came together. It looked like he tried to go to the inside of Keith Shoemaker, and the 13 was there. They saved that. And then it's until the exit of 2. That's where the next contact happens. I still don't know who was sent to the inside, but they kept it straight here.
It was Dustin German in the 66 that gets sent down to the bottom of the racetrack. 2 of Ortega sends him up to the wall, maybe?
Oh, no, it was not him. It was someone else back there.
Not quite sure who that was.
Could have been the 00 of Jerry West, possibly. Got a little loose off of turn 2. And then off of 4, looks like Banks gets into the left rear. Ferronis causes that. Then, bam, Villalobos. Huge hit into the side of the 29. Right here. Trying to see what happens. Looks like Banks is shooting the middle. Horonis is in the high line. And they just kind of ran out of room up there. And Villalobos kind of ran out of room to avoid this. This will be a better view. Ben Baffert got ahead of it. Ben Baffert finished 7th, by the way. I don't know how he got back up there, but
recovery to the max.
Oh yeah, Banks just. I mean, 29 was pretty much in the wall, and Banks still got into his left rear. That's everyone just driving incredibly hard for the win. Well, the 48 looks on.
There's your victory here tonight to capitalize on all of the situation. Post-race interviews with your top 3. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League live on V-Speed. We're going to round those guys up. Quick commercial break. Back to you live with those final results right after this.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
We're back here live. Saturday Night Racing League has concluded its 140 plus 15 more laps there tonight. 155 in the books. And the toss-up in the points is, well, Joseph McWhorter probably somewhere between 15 and 20 points ahead of Jeff Wright after tonight with those bonus points on the win. Well, let's take a look at those final results up on the screen. 13 lead changes, 5 cautions here today. 4 of those happened within the last 10 laps of this race. They all piled on for the 3 green-white checkered attempts. I believe the first time in SNR history that we've used all 3 of our green-white checkers. But McWhorter, victorious. Started 7th. He led just enough laps, and he led the last one over AJ Stravado. Bailey Turner, the top 3. Seth Hatchell comes home in 4th. Alex Bell in 5th. Chuck Sweeting gets a top 10 here today to put it all together. And Ben Baffert, after starting on the pole, going 2 laps down, quiet the rest of the day until the last green-white checkered finds himself in 7th. Joshua Banks, he's going to get a little bit of an advantage here after tonight. He'll finish in 8th. He should gain a considerable amount of points as well. Reggie Ortega in 9th. And Casey Lakatos in the 50, rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Banks will be much closer to Jeff Wright, who will likely be second in points. As we look at just outside the top 10, Dustin German, 2 of our biggest movers right there, German and Trejo, 31st to 11th, 30th to 12th. Bryce Shoemaker, I said Keith was in the 43, that was my mistake. Bryce Shoemaker in the 43 finished 13th. Eric Hutton, he did end up taking his left sides. He got back to 14th. Jerry West 15th, and then Weekly 16th. Horonis, who ran top 5 all race. Another driver does not get the finish they deserve. He finishes 17th. Jerry Bergeron 18th. Max Koss was kind of quiet in 19th. And Dakota Floyd, he also ran better than 20th, but that's where he'll finish.
13 more cars here to talk about. A few of these guys out of the race entirely. There's Julio Villalobos Jr., who gets 21st. I nailed it that time. Ray Massey, 22nd. 23rd, Keith Shoemaker. Noah Mahalski, who needed to have a good night tonight, 24th. Jeff Wright losing the points lead here, back to 25th, 7 laps down. And then it's the cars that did not finish here today. Daniel Cunningham, Chad Klinger, Philip Brewer, Ryan Carwile, Collier, and then 3 more cars up there. Mark McFadden, Justin Ritchie, Logan Threlkeld rounding out the field. Well, it was a tough day for some of these guys, but you know what? We still have to do it. We have to bring up our top 3. And the first one, I have Connor Horn down there on pit road. He's going to talk to the 24 of Bailey Turner.
I am going to talk to 24 Bailey Turner. And Bailey, 130 laps in was a pretty standard race. You had the freshest tires. You're going to get a top 10 out of the day. And for lack of a better term, I seem to be using this a lot. All hell breaks loose. You end up getting up to 3rd. It was a crazy day for you, just keeping track position. First off, it seemed like a track position-based race. Did you feel like it was that way, or was it different?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just early in the race. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, didn't think I cooked the tires too much, but me and Bell got into a little bit of a pissing match. Midway through the race, he doored me, so of course I door him back, and it hurts me more than it hurts him. So that was unfortunate. And then, yeah, like you said, going for that long strategy at the end, just seeing, I mean, if you're going to run 5th to 6th, and obviously we're not in the championship, why not try an alternate strategy and see if you catch a yellow? But, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't catch the yellow we needed, and then that yellow came out at the end, which then I've, thought to myself, well, wow, I just lost all that track position. But, yeah, I felt like if anybody saw me in their mirror, I guess they probably would have assumed I was Ross Chastain, because I was just taking everybody 3 wide on the restarts, and I guess we all took each other about 5 wide on one of those, and I don't think that's going to work at Vegas, unfortunately. So sorry for those guys that obviously got collected in that. I don't think really anybody was at fault. We were all just really going for it. But yeah, that was fun. Really clean battling there with Seth and Chuck and Massey and Angelo and all those guys. So yeah, I wish we would have gotten, like you said, just one more restart or so. It seemed like we were picking them off 1 or 2 every time. But yeah, obviously congrats to Joseph. That was definitely a hard one between him and Jeff, and definitely shook up the point standings.
Yeah, definitely shook up the point standings. Actually, think they are updated. At least the Sim Racer Hub shows a 19-point deficit for the 48, but obviously you just not going for points, just going for wins, led 5 laps. You said you were trying alternate strategies, but at the end of the day, it's looking like It was going to look like a decent top 10 for you, but you still get a top 3, so it's a good result regardless, I would say. And you want to shout out anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, obviously all the teammates there was really pulling for Jeff or AJ to kind of pull that one out, but unfortunately they came up a little bit short. It was just such a deficit there starting P2. It seemed like no matter what anybody had right there, it seemed like Joseph had their number, and the restart games were obviously working to his advantage. So obviously congrats to him again and the teammates and everybody over at V Speed and all the sponsors that keep putting this together. It's been a fun season. Wish I was here competing for playoffs, but couldn't make it every week and didn't want to steal somebody's spot that could be here every week. So oh well. But yeah, thanks guys. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Bailey Turner, 8th top 10, 8th top 5 of the season, 10th top 10 of the season. Congratulations, Bailey. Thanks for talking to us. We will see you the last 2 weeks.
Appreciate it.
So that's the 24, Bailey Turner. That's going to move us on to our second place finisher here tonight, AJ Stravato. I have the 33 down here in the pits. AJ, I mean, there was a couple, well, there was many attempts, but it just seemed like those restarts so difficult to judge. You had maybe something for him on the very first green-white checkered. You had sized it up perfectly back in third. But after that, man, it was just chaos.
Yeah, I'd say I didn't do too good of a job those last two restarts. I really timed that first one pretty well, but we just I think Eric was on two tires, so it just the fields are gonna scramble trying to get what they can. But just had a really good 1 and 2 there on that last restart, but just was a little too far behind. McWhorter who decides to make a desperate little lunge whip. We're almost there, but just really wish I did a better job after that first green flag run to save my tires, but I'm happy with the second place finish. I'll tell you that.
Well, and going into tonight, we raced this, 130 laps without a caution. And then suddenly it's one after another. What was going through your mind? You were probably going to lock up a top 3 or at least a top 5, but then everything just gets shook up. What was going through your mind when that caution came out with about 8 to go?
Well, one, I feel like I'm in a tough spot because McWhorter and Jeff were right ahead of me, and it's like you want to battle for the win, but you don't want to kind of mess with their championship game. So was just kind of content riding there in third, to be honest with you, and then just chaos ensued, and I feel so bad for Jeff, man. I just saw that all unfold in front of me and just felt for the guy, man. He's put together such a good season. He's dominant in these cars, and to have it go down like that really sucks for him, but kind of once that happened, I was kind of on go mode, but just can't restart worth a damn. I feel like Jeff Gordon here in the mid 2000s and 2010. So hopefully I can clean that shit up and get better at that. Because if I can do that, maybe I can get a win here.
Well, outside of that, AJ, great race tonight. Good second place and kind of put it together here towards the tail end of the season. We got 2 races left. Anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, just all my I guess my road team Project Valorous for the new scheme and all the league admins that make this happen. Don't get to show my face as often as probably I'm used to or would like to, but it's always good to run here, and this is a pretty competitive league, so always have to get extra practice in.
AJ, thank you for your time, buddy. We'll see you next week at Nashville.
Yes, sir. Hope I'll be there.
Second place finisher here tonight, AJ Stravato in the number 33. That finally brings us down to our victor tonight. Connor Horn is in V-Speed victory lane with the guy that just took over the points lead.
I am in here, Joseph McWhorter. A big celebration, led 33 laps, but you were going to be runner-up tonight, but everything broke loose in the final. What were the final 10 scheduled laps of the race turned into a marathon at the end. Could you believe what you were seeing when out of 4 you took the lead and the 48 went in the wall? Could you believe what you were seeing?
I didn't even see it at first. So the 88 got loose. I saw the 48 jump in behind me, and then I saw that in the mirror, and then I turned my attention back to the 88 and the exit, and then went down the straightaway and just didn't really pay attention. And then the caution came out, and I started looking on the black box to see who was involved, and I'm like, holy crap. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I don't think we could believe it either. We talked about it pretty much the last number of laps, even through all the green-white checkers. It was a relatively clean race. but it seemed very track position based. But then everything broke loose, and it seemed like a lot of the pent up aggression came out on the final restarts because of how hard it was to get through the field for most of the drivers. How tough was it for you to get through the field? Was it even tough at any point, even though, I mean, because I know you were staying out long and overcutting and making it work, but did you ever feel like it was a little too hard to pass at times, very track position based?
Yeah, it was definitely hard to pass. It also didn't help that my brake pedals. I don't know what's wrong with it. It keeps if I use my brake pedal at all and I let out, if I don't lift it back up with my foot, it'll sit there and like you'll watch the little red bar sit there and bounce. So I cleaned it. I had that issue all night last night during the 500. Cleaned it, redid everything today, tested a couple of different races, no problems. Tested all the way through practice, no problems. Get into the race, it starts again. And I was basically just kind of at the mercy of just having to drive completely different tonight. And I did the best that I could, and definitely didn't have any speed because I couldn't use the brakes to set the nose or shift weight to the rear, and I was basically just kind of stuck at what I had. So it was really frustrating. So I didn't have any choice but to play strategy on the tires. So I thought maybe going long would help, and backing up the corners the way that I had to make the corner. It was really the only option I had, but yeah, it was definitely frustrating. Like it was really hard to pass. Like that's why I was really aggressive on that first start, that initial start. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, but I'm sure it was a good show for you guys.
Definitely a great show near the end for us. And just another quick question. Obviously, the restarts, you had to go through four of them, three of them from the race lead. Seemed like a lot of games were played. There was five wide behind you at one point. Were you doing anything to try to counter the runs drivers in the second row were getting on you? Because it seemed like every other time we got through the restart zone, someone was trying to get a jump on you. Was there anything you were trying to do to counter that?
Yeah, so I was actually just talking to Bailey and and AJ Stravato about this because so with that new extra long restart zone that the mile and a half tracks have now, you're having to play a lot more games. I wasn't really slowing down or anything, but I was waiting, and I would maybe drop maybe a mile an hour or two because I could see Stravato create a gap and then start to accelerate on me. That first overtime restart, if you watched, I went really long in the box, and the 88 went, and the 33 went first, and then I went. And then the second one, I went immediately to try and kill any chance of a run between Chuck or the 33. And then the last one, I went like right in the middle of the box trying to mess with their timing. So it was just trying to watch the runs because they were leaning back, trying to get runs on me. So luckily, a lot of short track racing that I have under my belt helps me with that.
Yeah, it definitely helped you out. Was able to get away on the final restart of the race, and it works out for you. You go from 7 points down to unofficially or officially a 19-point lead over Jeff Wright. So two races ago, things are looking pretty solid for you. Anyone you want to thank? Anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank Red Camel Racing. They've been an awesome partner of mine. Amazing race gear. I get to use them in real life. We're getting really close to our first dirt start of the season, getting the car ready. So as soon as this season wraps up, we're going to be shifting our full focus into that. So go check them out at redcamelracing.com. They have workwear and race wear. They also have new motorcycle jackets, riding jackets. So go check them out. I think their promo is still going on. So at checkout, type in Moto for I think it was a 15% off if I remember correctly. Red Camel Reaper Speed Labs, they've been awesome partner as well. A lot of really fast setups. Go check them out. Harpoon Design, beautiful paint schemes that you see on several of our cars out here. I know even some of my competitors use Brantley to make their schemes. He's got like around 2,000 paint schemes on Trading Paint, so go check them out. My team, nobody could be here tonight. Everybody was all busy, so I was going solo tonight. No spotter, no crew chief, so that was really stressful. But still, a big shout out to them. I appreciate all the wonderful messages that everybody sent me afterwards. My girlfriend's mom for watching. I appreciate her for always tuning in every week. I also want to wish my dad a happy birthday. It's next weekend, but I actually missed his birthday party today because it was supposed to be next weekend. So, or I thought it was next weekend. So, big happy birthday to you. Hopefully you see this. Appreciate you. Love you. And just ready to get into the last 2 weeks and hopefully walk away with a championship.
We'll see if you walk away with a title. You flipped the script today, a 26-point turnaround, 7 points down to 19 up. Thanks for talking to us, Joseph. Your 5th win in your career in Saturday Night Racing League. And you got 2 weeks to go. We'll see you in Nashville.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So that does it for us here at V Speed and the Saturday Night Racing League. 2 races left for season number 2. Joseph McWhorter takes over the points lead. Be the first points change since the reset. So here we set. You guys got a lot of racing left to do. Saturday Night Racing League goes live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch us live Monday. Well, actually, catch us live on Sunday. Sunoco Cup Series at 8 p.m. Hope you guys can join us for that. And then Monday, it will be the last few races for the Overtake iRacing League on their Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series. So hope you guys can join us for that as well. QSR, BTDY, all of the racing that you've come to know here on V Speed. But for everybody, Adam Baker, Jeff Wright, I know, man, tough one today. Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, Bradley Cooper, Connor Horn telling you have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time here on V Speed.